Hi, you guys. Hi, y'all. We're going to be talking about alchemy being material as well as in spiritual enlightenment path. Because how are y'all today? I'm getting a lot of people that are making weird comments, and perhaps they're just not understanding that alchemy and alchemy is earthly as well as spiritual. So you're going to need both sides of it. Okay. I've seen a lot of comments saying, I thought you were supposed to be spiritual. Why do you keep talking about, wealth and abundance and A, B, C, and D? Well, that's part of it. Okay. And I'm going to be reading out of this book, you guys, The Way of Hermes, also Corpus Hermeticum. That's also another name for this book. So hey y'all, it says in book 16, I think that's chapter 5, it says, even so the creator, that is to say the sun, links heaven to earth, sending a substance down from above, raising up matter from below, draws everything around himself, the alchemist, and into himself from, himself, gives all to all, bestowing the light in abundance for, everyone, heaven and earth. So from the heavens into the depths of the sea. So yeah, you definitely, if you're not able to do both or you're not trying to do both, you're unable to be successful in alchemy if you cannot reach the depths of the earth or into the heavens. So that's why, if you look back in history, a lot of the well-known, kings and pharaohs are connected to gods, goddesses, heaven, and earth. They had kingly riches as well as spiritual enlightenment. Okay, because in order to be able to teach people and for people to seek, there must be an earthly benefit as well as a heavenly benefit. And yes, in a lot of religion, they teach only you're getting the heaven benefit and not the earthly benefit. So that's why in alchemy, it teaches you that you're supposed to have both. If you're not getting both, it's because you're unbalanced in one side of it and you're not focusing on the other side. So there's going to be that imbalance. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to be, rich or a millionaire. It just means that you have to have something on both ends working for you. You know what I'm saying? If I'm to think that you are great in the heavens or in the spiritual realm, I need to see that you are also great in the earthly realm. Okay. So remember that, a lot of people use spirituality as an excuse to not focus on certain things because they've been taught that you're not supposed to want earthly material things, or you're not supposed to seek earthly material things, or you're not supposed to put too much value on them and only focus on the spiritual side of it. A lot of people have been taught that so that they are not able to reach the point of spiritual enlightenment that you can reach if you have both as well, as the balance. So if you're stuck right now in this, well, I'm spiritual and I know a lot of knowledge. If you know a lot of knowledge and you're spiritual, then it should be no problem to get the material, okay? Because in that knowledge, in that enlightenment, in that spiritual, knowledge is the key to earthly possession, earthly material things. If you can get it and you have it, and you don't spend it, that's your choice. No one said you have to spend it. But can you get it? Can you show people how it's done on heaven as well as on earth? You know, um, that's how. That's what this is explaining. It also says, if there is a spiritual substance, then it is the body of the sun, which is which his light contains. The sun alone, being near to himself in place of nature, knows what his substance is made and whence it flows. We cannot see him, but by systematic effort, we can understand him. So this means just because we can see the sun and the light, this also represents the consciousness. Just because we can see that you're conscious, we need to see your substance as well. Okay. Just because we hear and see your light, we need to see what else you can do. Okay. This is, yes, you're conscious, but what else? What else do you offer? Who are you? What is it about you that makes you this way? So this also says that you also have to have substance, which means you have to be more than just conscious. This means you also have to have a personality, something that you really like, something about yourself that grounds you as well, that makes you special. Because this is also one of the things that people forget. They just become so wrapped up in their spiritual journey, they lose themselves. What did you like before you embarked on this journey? Do you still do those things? What makes you unique? So you got when you're you gotta keep yourself. Okay, keep yourself. Don't turn into some fool that no one remembers or recognizes. Don't start wearing all that stuff and change everything about yourself to where no one knows who you are anymore. Okay, keep yourself. Okay, so then we're moving on. Blah, 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 blah. The vision of the sun, however, does not involve effort. This means you shouldn't be trying so hard to be something that you're not. Okay, you should just shine automatically because you are what you are becoming or what you've always been, but you're just becoming the better version of yourself. You're not totally changing. Okay. So da 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 da. I'm just reading. I'm going to try to read it so that it's easily understood. Okay, so this is saying, it's almost saying like, it's like you're a driver, you're controlling you guide the chariot, you guide, your being, and you have discipline, but you're not afraid to go a little faster, make a little curve, make a little turn. This is saying you're not going to run amok. You're not going to lose control, but you have a rein on your discipline. But you're not so strict and disciplined that you don't have fun and venture off the path or to seek adventure. You know what I'm saying? It means you're still a fun person. Okay. And it also represents knowing that you're an eternal spirit and that you're free also allows you to not take things so seriously. You know what I mean? And to understand that you're an eternal being. So that's what that's saying. Okay. So basically, it does say in here on how so this in here is talks about astral travel. If you astral travel and you find yourself flying, it does talk about cyclical movements like cycles, and exchanging one for another, kind for kind, form for form. So it's almost like rebirth, life, rebirth, death, life, rebirth. You already know that you've been here before. This is another incarnation. You're not worried about things. You know what I mean? So you're less stressed. You're less afraid of things. You've been here before. You have some knowledge and blah, 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 blah. This is what separates the immortals from the immortals. That person that's always rushing and saying, well, it's going to be too late, or, don't go, that's dangerous, or, the negative person that's afraid of everything doesn't know they're immortal. Okay. It also represents becoming becoming immortal after being mortal. It means you also wake up one day after you get knowledge, and then you start living that way as an immortal. So you're not taking things so serious. You're not so rushed. You're not so afraid of things because you already know this death is not the end. So it's that moment that we realize that we're immortal and we've always been immortal, or it's that moment when we're mortals and then get the knowledge that we are immortal and we start living that way. Okay. So, so just keep that in mind. Everything is not spiritual. It does have to have an earthly balance, but you have to have an immortal mind in order to be able to do that. Okay. And that's the thing about a lot of religion. It teaches you the exact opposite. It teaches you that after this life, you're going to go somewhere. And unless you were good or bad, then that's where you're going to receive all of the things that you've always wanted on earth. So be good, and maybe you'll get to heaven and have some gold and pearls or whatever. But that's not how alchemy works. Alchemy works like create the life you want above as well as below. Okay? Don't wait in line like a sheep for your rations while everyone else is living the life that they truly want. Okay. So that's what that talks about. It also talks about being a creator. It always talks about being a creator and always creating. And that there's never a beginning nor an end. There's only creation. Okay. As long as people are creating, there's never an end. So whenever someone says, oh, the world is ending, as long as people are creating, as long as there's artists, as long as there are people with vision manifesting, there is no end unless we decide to stop being creators. Okay. And even spiritually, we create in that consciousness. So never stop creating. If you are living in a life where you are not creative and you are just doing what you're told or following somebody's rules, and if you're not creating, that is not a good thing. Okay? Not a good thing. So get back into creation mode. I don't care what it is, even if it's writing, So always be creating. It doesn't have to be your main focus, but you do need that aspect in your life because that's what links you to the spiritual, to the cosmos, to the creator source energy. If you're not creating, you are no longer a creator. Okay? So you have to keep doing it. Hey y'all. So I'm not going to be on here very long because I do have to do something in a little while. But if you have issues with having the time to create or figuring out what you want to do, as a hobby or as a creative hobby, you need to just make it up until you find something that you're passionate about. Okay. Make something up, create something, draw a doodle, do anything. Playing makeup like I do. I don't know. Create something. um, so I'm just gonna flip through. I did have a bookmarked in here. Let's see what that is. So this book is very I wouldn't say cryptic, but if you understand symbolism and you've already read Emerald Tablets, you should be able to decipher what things mean. Okay. Okay, I think I talked about this in another video, but I just want to retouch on it for the people who haven't seen it because it was like a long time ago. So it talks about guilt and how karma is only a choice. Hey y'all. Because I know a lot of you guys will argue back and forth until you're blue in the face that karma is real and that's not a choice and da da da. Okay. So if any of you feel like that, I'm going to read you something. And this is in book 12, part or chapter 7. And it says, all men suffer. And when I say men, that means people, mankind. All men suffer what has been ordained, but those with reason. Okay, so let me break that down. Suffering means to fester, to feel bad about something, to ache over something, which usually is guilt. Okay, all men suffer what has been ordained. All men suffer what people have taught you to feel guilty about. But those with reason, who, as we have said, are led by nous, by spirit, by creator energy, okay, do not suffer like others do. So those that are connected and have that creator source energy and are used to creating and manifesting don't suffer like the other people who don't create or manifest. We don't suffer like that. Not that we're evil, okay, but we are simply released from the evil, which means we don't believe in good or bad. We only believe in vibration, okay? So, because we understand universal law. So, again, like, what do you mean? So the adulterer is not evil, the murderer and all the rest are not evil, they ask? They are. They are evil. Those things are evil. But the suffering of the one with reason will not be an adulterer. So if this is saying, if you committed adultery, if you murdered somebody, yet you do not suffer behind it in guilt, then you basically escape that evil. Okay, which means you're not feeling guilty over it. Therefore, you're not vibrating guilt. Therefore, you're not attracting things to be guilty for in the future, nor are you vibrating to attract a punishment for your guilt or deed that made you feel guilty because you've reasoned it away. And I did this video a while back, but when you reason something away is you make a reason in your mind as to why it was necessary. Remember when we spoke about necessary evil? Even if it's a lie, even if you just make it up off the top of your head, as long as you feel and you're vibrating guilt-free, you're good. And I'm not saying it does not make it unevil. It just makes you have no suffering, aka no karma. So if I say, okay, well, you know what? Maybe by doing that, I saved the world because that person was going to grow up and destroy this and that, which was going to lead to this and that. And then everybody's civilization would be destroyed. It didn't have to be true. I just have to feel it's true and think it's true and create the scenario in my mind and see it and then say, oh, I just saved that. You know, I have to feel that. So if I feel that, I feel like what I did was for a purpose and the greater good, and I'm good. Might even attract abundance because I feel like I deserve it. You know what I'm saying? And that doesn't mean you're not going to get caught. That doesn't mean that forensic evidence is not going to bust you. It just means you're not going to energetically or vibrationally attract anything to you. It does, and it means that you don't feel guilty over it, and you're free. Okay, that's all it means. So that's what Hermes is saying. Okay. So then he's talking to someone back and forth. So basically, okay. So basically, he's saying, so to be clear, you said that nous, which is, source energy, spirit, dark energy, whatever you want to call it, acts as nature in irrational creatures. So irrational creatures are emotional creatures, right? So the universe acts as nature in irrational creatures. The universe goes off of emotion and vibration. That's what he's trying to tell you. Working in their instincts. Okay. And the instincts of these creatures are, as I believe, things that change. Emotions change from one minute to the next. Okay. This is my book, The Ways of Hermes. Okay. So emotions change. And if nous or spirit energy, source energy works in the instincts, emotions, and emotions are things that change, is nous then also subject to change as it is associated with things that change? So yes, you can change your life by how you vibrate and how you feel, how you think. Okay. Most people don't believe this, but it's true, because as soon as you start changing how you think and how you feel and how you view things and how you feel about things and how you feel about yourself, everything changes. Okay. This is the Corpus Hermeticum, Ways of Hermes. So this is Hermes talking and his student. So yes, that is how the universe works, how dark energy works, how you can change everything with how you feel, how you think, and how you think about yourself. And if you don't understand that, well, that's what it goes by. Nature, universal law. Okay? So, law of attraction is basically a lot of the universal law combined, basically. Okay? Because law of attraction, you can attract the wrong things. Or you don't understand that you are the universe. You're not asking, you're not trying to attract it from the universe. You are the universe. You are the creator. That's what it's teaching you. You are a creator. You're not asking, you're not seeking law of attraction from the universe. You are the universe. So how you vibrate is how things will change in your life, because you are the universe. That's how you're connected. So then his student says, "Oh, you are giving teaching most clear, Father." Okay, this is the universe, creation has given all mortal creatures these two gifts: nous, connection with the universe, and speech, the abilities to speak words. Both are much valued as immortality. So both of these things should be valued just as much as, being immortal. Man has spoken the word. If he uses these gifts rightly, he will be no different from the immortals. This is saying, speak what you want into your life. speak it. Okay. And on departing from the body, when you die, he will be guided by both to the realm of the gods and the blessed ones. You're not going to be recycled. You're going to get to go to where the gods or the ascended masters or the higher conscious beings are. You're not going to be recycled back on through. You're going to go into the realm of the gods. Okay, when we say the gods, we mean the people that have ascended past human thinking, human consciousness, and out of certain dimensional consciousness. Okay, that means they know how to create, they know they're creators, they know that they have control over their own life, and that they know the words that they speak bring things to them. They know all of this and they live by it. Those are gods and goddesses. Okay, they don't depend on other people for changing their lives for them. They are in total control of what happens in their life and what they make of it, how they vibrate on it, how they think about it, and how they can create from negative. So when you die, if you live this way, you will be taken, or your consciousness, your spirit will automatically go up to that dimensional spiritual realm. Okay, which allows you to be around other types of consciousness, conscious beings, gods, goddesses, and able to create what you want next in the afterlife or the spiritual realm. Okay. Um. Da, 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 blah, blah, blah. Okay. So. Okay. Anyway. Furthermore, in every compound body, there is number. For without number, it is impossible for combination, composition, or dissolution to occur. The one in each brings forth number and increases it, and again dissolving it. So this means we're creating and we're destroying all at the same time. We're creators and destroyers. That's why most gods are dual. Okay. As we're living, we're also dying. Our bodies are, anyway. Okay. So life is alchemy. Spirituality is alchemy. Consciousness is alchemy because we're constantly creating and being destroyed. So we also have to remember that. um, right. So okay, so here we go. This just basically tells you that death is not change, and that is just a perception. Okay, because all is immortal. Basically, it's just saying energy never dies. Okay, it just changes form. That's basically what that's saying. And that is in book 12, chapter 17. So it seems like that's not new when, people or scientists said that energy doesn't die, it just transferred or changes forms. Yes, that's been around for a long time. Okay. Um. So here we go. He's asking now. The student is asking about creator, creation, energy, dark energy, God, nous. If it's Is it in matter? Is it in material thing? Is it in something I can touch? Um, what do you think it could be other than formless? Da da da. He's asking if God or nous or spirit or source energy is in people, in things, in all those things. And yes, his material nature, the activity that is body, bodily nature, activity. The essence of nature is all source, all energetic. So this is how because remember every and the law of vibration, everything is vibrating. There's no solid material. There's no solid matter. Everything is constantly in motion. Therefore, if it is vibrating, it is part of nous. So that's how a lot of people um, some people are able to move things with their mind because they find that connection, that relationship with that energy, and they're able to be like telekinetic and move things. Very rare, but it's not unheard of. You know what I mean? So mhm, just telling you about how everything is connected and you can basically uh, find a connection to anything, just like money, like or material things. If a lot of people that are attracting abundance to them, that's what they're vibrating. That is a link to y'all know on the dollar bill it says in God we trust, and everyone thinks that's so evil. In God we trust, that means you trust in yourself to have the connection to bring whatever you want to you because you are connected to source energy, to dark energy, to God energy, to nous. Okay. So in God we trust. It shows the pyramid and the eye above it floating, which means you are a part of the pyramid. You are a part of that. You're not separate from it, but you are a part of it because it fits together. It's just as above, so below, you know. And that means you're able to have whatever you choose if you understand who you are. And if you ever hear me saying in my videos, if you only knew who you were, you would not be asking these questions. Right. So, yes, if you only know who you are or knew who you were or are, you wouldn't have low self esteem. You wouldn't ask yourself, well, I don't know how to do this, this, and that, because you would create it, vibrate it, speak it, and it will be, you know. And you have to know who you are. You have to understand what you are and who you are in order for these things to work properly. If you're still not believing this, if you're still programmed with whatever you were raised under, you have to deprogram and relearn all this stuff in order to know who you really are and what your true abilities are so that you can create the life that you desire. Okay. If you're having trouble letting go of things, remember, most of it is not working for you for a reason. Right. Most of these things aren't working for you for a reason because you're not connecting correctly because you haven't been given the knowledge to do so. Or if the knowledge has been hidden or it is unclear on how to use it because in religious text, it's not clear. Or you have to decipher it or decode it and you don't understand how to do that and you take it as literal instead of metaphor or symbolic. So you still don't have the tools because you don't know how to read or decode what is thought of as literal. So once you figure that out, you're good to go. Okay. And that's why I like telling you guys this because a lot of new people are coming to my channel. A lot of the subscribers, which I thank you for subscribing, that have been with me a long time, have heard me talk about this before, maybe in a different way, but you've heard me talk about this before and you understand that you are able to change your life and other things. Now, what if you're afraid of the power because of the dual, the good and bad? When we recognize our power, the knife cuts both ways. Exactly. You can't be afraid. In fact, you should embrace it. You know, a lot of people are afraid of this power because they think they're going to automatically think that they're going to do bad with it. That's the part I was telling you about the chariot and how you have to have your hands on both reins and have that discipline. Those who cannot control themselves cannot control anything anyway. So if you were to get that power, you wouldn't even be able to use it because you would basically mute it out by not controlling your emotions. So let's just say one day you are very confident and you manifested something and you know everything is positive, you're vibrating positive. The next day you feel mean and upset, you take it all back, you don't want to manifest this. You've just neutralized it anyway. You will never accomplish anything if you're not in control, or you will only bring about negative if you only focus on negative. So that's why it's very important to get control of self before you start using universal law and all these things to attract what you want and manifest. Why? Because if you don't, the universe is just going to respond to how you're vibrating. That's it. If you're afraid, that means you don't have discipline. Okay? Most disciplined people are not afraid because they trust themselves. You don't trust yourself. So that's why you're afraid. So you got to learn how to trust yourself. hmm If you don't trust yourself, then how can you trust anybody else? And how can you trust that? If you can't trust yourself, why should anyone trust you? Why should you trust anyone else? And why should you be ascended to God or goddess status? You know, you got to think about these things. Um, yeah. So it doesn't trust has nothing to do with lying. And just gonna tell you the truth. Trust has nothing to do with lying. Why? Because it's a vibration. Do you know who you are as a person inside? Do you understand if you are faced with certain choices, the choice you will make? Do you understand that you are able to make the choice that is most beneficial? That's trust. Trust is between a man and a woman. It's like, okay, I know you're going to lie to me because everybody lies, but can I depend on you to make sure everything is going to work as far as finance, home, family, A, B, C, and D. Yes, I can trust for that. But can I trust that you're going to tell me every little detail of your waking life? No, because that's not what trust is. Trust is understanding that you are going to do what is expected of your own self. If that person trusts themselves and you trust yourself and you trust this person to trust themselves and they trust you to be yourself, that's trust. Okay? So you can't confuse what trust really is. It's not about lying. It's about, are you a disciplined person? Do you usually follow through on this, and that? Yes. Okay. That's all that is. Mhm. Yes. It's because we are living organisms similar to how the earth is. Yes. So we're connected to the earth as well as the heavens. Okay. So we're able to change things here as well as there. Yeah. Mhm. Trust equals escrow. Yes, Marcus. That too. Okay. That's not trust, that's being responsible. That's still that's still trust. You trust them to do the responsible thing. Okay. It's basically like, okay, I know who I am. I know what I'm going to do. I know what I'm not going to do. Just like when somebody is murdered and they start interviewing suspects and they say, what type of person was this person who died? Would they have done such a thing? No, they would not have ever left their house without their purse, because you trust them to take their purse with them every time, because that's what they do all the time. And they know they're going to do it. You know they're going to do it. That's what you trust. That's not being responsible. That's something that you trust is true, right? So that's what that is. It's kind of like, does this person follow through more than not? Okay, good enough. They're going to trust you exactly to be responsible, but has nothing to do with being honest. There you go. That's clearing it up. Do you believe we mirror each other vibrationally? I believe we have free will to do so if we choose to, or we can mirror whatever we choose to mirror. You know, if we're unaware and not really thinking about it, I feel like if I'm a high vibrating being and I'm sitting next to a low vibrating being, we're going to feel the difference. I'm going to either get up and leave, or they're going to get up and leave. If we're vibrating in a similar vibration, we're going to probably have a conversation. Okay. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes, exactly. So remember, when you're thinking about good and bad, evil, guilt, if something's going to come back on you, I know a lot of you guys are new and y'all are asking me, well, if I do this, will it come back on me? If you feel guilty about it, if you keep thinking about it, if you think it will, yes, it will. If you don't think so, if you do it and forget it and finish it and feel good about it and celebrate and dance in a circle after you're done, no. Maybe only something good. So that's why y'all need to understand it's how you feel. Mhm. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna see another part of this book. See if I can find something else to talk about. Eh, Okay, so this talks about people who are not yet awake. This part, it's book 7, chapter 6. It says the ignorant and those that are not in the way of devotion dare to speak of a man as beautiful and good. Like they don't see mankind as beautiful and good. However, they don't see anything as good, but everything evil. They only see the negative, basically. They only see the negative side of things. And they become insatiable and fearful. And when you try to take it away from them by telling them, oh, you need to be more positive, A, B, C, and D, when you try to take away that negative perception from them, then they struggle for everything. Not only do they have to increase it, the negativity, but they will struggle with positivity. And they also say that you can't hate them for that and you can't escape them. They're going to be there. Those people that won't wake up, they're going to be there and you cannot escape them. The worst thing of all is that we have need of these things and we cannot live without them. This means this is teaching us how not to be, or else our lives will be like this. These are our living examples of how things will become if we do not keep on our path, if we do not continue what we're doing. This is how your children will be if you don't teach them A, B, C, and D. This is how your life used to be. So stay on track, baby. That's what it's saying. We need losers and negative people and people that just don't get it. Okay? Because it pushes us further away from them and higher. So we can get away from them because we don't want to be around. We got to get up out of those bad environments. It pushes you to the next level because you don't want to be next to those people. Okay? So that's in there. Okay. So all the things that you guys asked me, it's in this book. But it's written in a way that you have to kind of decipher it. But all of those questions are answered in here. Okay. Okay, let's see. Okay. So it talks about if you can perceive like energy, nous, spirit, the universe, and beauty and goodness and splendor, like good things in life, that you recognize as things that are being delivered to you, because of your vibration. Oh, look at that beautiful, rainbow. I was just talking about a rainbow, that's a sign from the universe that you're connecting, right? When you see life this way, when you start seeing synchronicities, when you start seeing your manifestations come through or signs that it's about to come through and you relate to it, you see the beauty and the synchronicity and the universe and your power and nous and everything. Okay. So you perceive beauty, goodness, and positive things, okay, as no different. You don't feel like there's a separation between you and the universe. You feel like an exchange, like a part of it. You don't feel like you're separated, like religion separates us, where you have to beg and pray a God in the sky to help you, and it's his choice whether to or not, depending on how well you followed instructions, right? So this is kind of like understanding your connection to the universe and seeing everything as a part of it manifest, and it's beautiful to you. Okay. Now it also talks about how you see that you're not separate and that you are in control, and that how you vibrate does manifest. So, and this also pushes you further to the devotion of the knowledge and to keep going. So, by getting what you manifest and seeing it in synchronicities and signs around you keeps you moving further. That's what it's saying. And only certain people will be able to do this, not those negative people. They'll only see negative. You're seeing the exact opposite. That's why your life keeps improving, because you keep going in that direction. So look for those things. Don't just live every day without recognizing the beauty of your connection to the universe. I always have synchronicities, I always hear my favorite artist when I walk into any store, most 99% of the time. Okay. And my kids pointed out, oh my God, Mom, they're playing Michael Jackson. No matter where I go, it's coming on. Okay. If they got music, there we go. Unless it's like a country place and they playing country music. But you know how there's multiple people playing other music elsewhere? Walk to the next door. There it is. Okay. So you just have to look for the beauty in those synchronicities in life. Thank you, Cassandra George, for the nice donation. I really appreciate that. Right. Okay. I love that book. Just the way you explain it. Thank you. Um, sounds just like Napoleon's Hill outwitting the devil. Yeah. He got a lot of his information from Hermes and Thoth and all the ancient philosophy and writings, of course. Mhm. That's why I like his books because they're very metaphysical. They have a lot of alchemy in them, and I they're easier to understand. You don't have to really break it down. But I like breaking it down because there's more hidden between the lines. Hmm. So, like on my screensaver on my computer, it says, what did it say? Something about the knowledge. It says a true student will read between the lines and gain wisdom. If the light is in you, the light, which is whatever. So, reading between the lines also helps. Hmm. And the thing about karma, that because it doesn't exist and it depends on how you vibrate. Yes, even all those people that do horrific crimes, if they don't feel guilt for it, they will ascend because just as there are good gods and goddesses, there are other types of gods and goddesses that are not quote unquote quote good. You know what I mean? There's God of War. So that's not good, but it doesn't matter if it's good or bad because you're not the judge of other people. They are the judge of themselves. And thank you, Angie Trujillo, for the wonderful donation. Because when those people ascend and they feel zero guilt and they decide, oh, okay, well, I'm a god now, I'm a goddess, I can create what I want. If they come back, if they do decide to reincarnate and want to do something different or continue the same pattern, it's in their power to do so. And you can't stop it. All is destruction and rebirth and creation. So just because it is wrong, because it is wrong, doesn't mean that that person that has done the crime is going to suffer for it or even be punished for it in the spiritual realm. Okay. So keep that in your mind. That's why most people seek justice on earth. Most people seek justice in the physical because if that person does not feel guilt, they will not receive it in the spiritual. That's why they have laws. That's why they have jail time. That's why they have execution so that they suffer somewhat in some type of way. Hmm. And think about it. In a lot of the countries where they understand alchemy or they know alchemy or whatever, their punishment for certain things is very harsh in the physical. They're beheading, cutting off body parts and burning people and stuff because they want you to suffer that. And maybe by suffering and the power of suggestion and everyone telling you you're wrong, for one little inkling, you may feel, now, this is deep. For one little inkling, you may feel that guilt when you pass over. You may take that vibration with you, and then, only then, will you vibrate in guilt. But if you're never caught, if no one ever suggests to you that you are wrong and try to deprogram you and reprogram you that that's not right and you should feel guilty for it, and then they reason with you why you are wrong and guilty. If you don't absorb that, you're fine. If you do absorb it and then you do feel a little bit guilty, then you've changed your vibration and you must suffer the guilt that comes, the vibration and the guilt that comes with that. So that's why a lot of times they put you on trial. They sit you in front of a bunch of people that be like, the court is very magical. Okay. The court is it's very much alchemy. And other people's perception changes your perception sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. So that's why if you get caught and you are made a spectacle, you are made an example, and people tell you you're wrong, you're going to start to maybe second guess yourself and perhaps set yourself up spiritually to receive, guilt vibrations in the spiritual realm and whatever. But if you don't get caught, you're good. Like Charles Manson, he doesn't feel guilty, you know. he's way gone, so he's fine. But other people, they might. And also, when you have to live with it for a long time in prison, that's why some people don't get executed right away. They make you live with it, make you live up to the execution date. The more guilt you feel that's associated with that fear, the more likely you're going to suffer spiritually. So it's done for a reason. Mm-hmm. Right. Mentally deranged people don't have the ability to feel guilt. Exactly. That's why they put you in an institution and not prison, because waste of time. You might kill some more people if you got a chance. Okay. Then they try to counsel you into guilt. You know what you did was wrong, right? They try to guilt you consciously with your mental. So y'all don't have to worry. Yes, if they're caught and they fall for it, they will feel it. Okay. Well, we shouldn't worry about that. It's the system is set up to handle that. Okay. Okay, so this talks about timing and when things are right and they're going to happen. So I'm in book 11 on chapter 6. So it says, everything must always be begotten at exactly the right place. The nous, or the spirit, or the energy, or the source energy, is in everything. It does not just dwell in one thing, nor does just create in one. It begets them all. So wherever you're walking, whatever you're doing, whatever place you are at, the energy and everything and everybody knows exactly what you're manifesting deep down inside. Okay, they're vibrating it. Okay, blah 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 blah. Okay, the power being active is not separate from the thing that you want. So the power being active and bringing you what you want is in everything around you. Everything. Everything exists with this in it. Through me and through you and through this cup, behold the cosmos. An answer that I could be seeking, an idea, a business idea, I could get by looking at this cup and not even realizing. I'm like, something may click in my brain, or I might see a comment that leads me to my next idea or topic that will bring me, whatever I've been manifesting, mentally, spiritually, physically, whatever. So everything is able to help you if as long as you're vibrating and you understand your connection to all. Okay? Pringles? No, not Pringles. So don't forget that. No matter where you are, who you're with, everywhere you go, whatever you've manifested and whatever you're seeking is in everything around you. And it will beget you, or you will understand, or you will get what you're seeking at the right place at the right time. Don't ever worry about you're going to miss it because it's going to be there if you're constantly vibrating it. Okay? Um, yeah, I know that is deep, right? I'm like, yes, very, very deep. Something to contemplate on. Mm-hmm. Da, 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 da. Um, I'm reading something real quick, trying to just decipher it. Hmm. This is really deep. I'm reading in book 11, chapter 8, and it's like, what? I'm gonna have to really study this part. Okay, I got it. When people ask me, can you change the will of others? It's in here. Okay. A lot of people ask me, can you change the free will of others? Or how come my spell isn't working? My love spell isn't working? Or how come he hasn't called me? I did all the magic. I did the spell. I believed. It tells you about it here. It says, all things have a soul, or their own self, their own consciousness, basically, and that which is cannot be moved down or up. That which is fixed cannot be moved down or up. So if that man don't love you, never loved you, don't want to love you ever, 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 you can't change it. He's stuck. His soul is said, I don't love her. So no matter how many love spells you do, if he never loves you, never planned on loving you, don't want to love you in the future, don't want to love you in a past life or a future life or ever in a whatever, it won't work. You can't change something that has a soul that is fixed. Okay? And that doesn't mean they won't change themselves. It means you can't do it by manifesting or doing spell work. It does mean that you can use the power of suggestion to make them think and perhaps change it themselves, because only their vibration can be changed by themselves. So if you're able to change their vibration, you're able to change them. But it's only their free will to change their own vibration. How they feel is their instincts, aka emotion, that has to change in order for you to get whatever result you're trying to get. So you can't just, I'm going to put a love spell on someone who does not love me. You got to change their emotion about you first. Okay. So it says that here in roundabout way, in a long, drawn out, cryptic way. That's what it says. Um, blah, 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 blah. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Mhm, mhm. So basically, okay, so here's the thing. When they talk about souls, They talk about creator and they talk about matter. Matter, soul, creator are all one. Not one by itself, but one repeated. One repeated. So whatever makes up whatever that soul source energy nous is in matter, it is the same exact energy in a soul, which is the same exact energy in a creator. It is the same exact energy in a paper bag, A, C, and D. So that's why when we see this computer code, it all reduces to ones and zeros. Okay. The ones are fixed. The zeros are there to be manipulated to change the code around the ones, which changes the program. You understand? Yeah, literally is the matrix. Literally. So if you know what coding is and all the ones and zeros, if you change like 2 zeros or add a 1, it means something totally different. Okay? So the zeros are the ones that are not fixed. The ones, as far as spirituality, are the ones that are able to not be moved or fixed, the zeros around them. Okay. When you take out a zero, you have the one replaces it, or something like that. Mhm. Come on, kitty. Do you know that they got Mormon commercials on your video? I don't care. They can put Mormon commercials all up on my video. It doesn't matter. I'm sure y'all not gonna convert to Mormon. Okay. So yes, called binary. Yes. Yes, Marcus. That check. Yeah. So that's how you think about it. Anyway, what time is it? I gotta go in a few minutes. So if y'all have any questions, you can ask them now. That's pertaining to the video. Don't ask me about something I'm not speaking about. Thank you. Mhm. Mhm. You just started manifesting with the dark energy and it works too good. I know. Okay, Marcus, thank you for that information. It's 3 a.m. in Africa and Kenya. Hey, night owls. Why aren't ancient metaphysical books ever considered holy? Because religion is not, you're not supposed to be religious. Okay. That's why they're not considered holy. Because if they were considered holy, they would be a religion. They have to be knowledge. You have to seek it on your own. You can't be forced into it. You have to want it, not be forced into it. You have to recognize what it is. You know what I mean? Hmm. That's why you have to keep yourself busy leveling up and enjoying life. Yes. Do you still offer sessions or consultations? I do, but right now is not a good time because school's getting ready to start back. I'm going to be super busy. But after those kids get back in school in 2 weeks, I'll be like really taking them on. I'm taking only very, very few. If you write me, I'm probably not having, I haven't checked any of my filtered Facebook messages because there's too many and it's overwhelming. Most of them are were, for something else. I'm gonna have to delete them all and start over because I can't. I'm gonna have to wait till after school. It's too many. Mhm. Um, so in about 2 weeks, just email me in 2 weeks. Okay. Thank you. So this is the same information as the Mason teach. Yeah, a lot of it is. I mean, they study Hermeticism. This is Hermes. Do you ever feel mentally drained? If so, what do you do? If I feel mentally drained, it's because I didn't spend time gathering anything beneficial. If I have spent time gathering something such as knowledge, information, or an experience that is beneficial, I feel energized. If you feel drained, it's because you have not gained anything in exchange for whatever you've just done. Okay, so keep that in mind. Mhm. Make sure you're gaining something when you expand energy. That's why a lot of people, don't age well because they give too much without receiving anything in return. Okay. As above, so below, as within, so without. Give and receive. Mhm. Some people drain you. That means they're not beneficial to you. It means get away from them. Okay. If something is not beneficial and draining you, you're dumb to stay around it. They're sucking the life out of you. You want to be old? You want to die soon? Okay. Get away. Hmm. Can you give a book suggestion for spells to do a video later for the time is it? Okay. Any book you choose. I don't really use books for spells, but anyone that you like, you know. Hmm. You just ordered The Way of Hermes. Good. Now I'm telling y'all, when I first got this book, I could not read it. I got it years ago, and I just looked at it. I was like, I don't know what this means, and I would put it down. I had to read other things first before I was ready for this. Symbolism books, you know, books on alchemy, things like that, to understand what it means. Otherwise, I would have taken it literal and been lost. Hmm. Hmm. Awesome. You're a mental health therapist, so I've really had to learn how to protect myself from being drained. Exactly. You don't see it if okay, here's this would be my advice from this book on if you're around a lot of people that drain you, and I gotta go after this. Um, don't look at the negative side of it, look at the positive side of it, you know, because and this is sad, but it's true. That's why a lot of the industries are the way that they are because if you're in such a draining profession, you have to see the positive side. And sometimes it's not seen as good to other people, but to you, it is. So when you are a therapist and you have to talk to patients, and just imagine if these people didn't have these problems, I wouldn't have a job. So let me, while they're talking, each problem that they lay out is a challenge for to what I remember in school on how I can help. This is just going to sharpen me into a better therapist and psychologist so that I can get more clients. And oh, and yes, I'm going to help them, but I still need them to come back so I can continue to get paid. A lot of people think like this, and it stops them from feeling drained because they're not focused on that aspect of it. They're more focused on how good they are as a therapist and how great the patient is responding to them and how they want to keep returning because you make them feel good about themselves. Now you're being given. Now you're not being drained. Now you're being fulfilled in your own self as a great therapist. You're becoming sharp. So you got to think of it like that. Okay. So thank you guys. I really appreciate y'all coming to my live. I gotta do something, but I may be back later or later this week doing more videos. And I will see y'all on the next one. Have a great week. And thank you for all of you who donated. I really appreciate you. I'm almost at 50,000 subscribers. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you guys for subscribing and always, interacting with me. Bye.